Welcome to PK Woodworking, and I wanted to start off today's video by talking about some feedback I got on my previous video, which is that sometimes these multiple angles up at the same exact time on the screen are a bit distracting. And to be honest with you, it's great feedback. And I would love for all of you, if you feel differently or if you agree, to not be afraid to put some comments down in this particular video and let me know. But I will say, it's not fun to actually video it like that. Not because it's challenging to get the cameras up, because now I have them available to go up high inside the shop. The challenge is to get them all synced at the same time. And then there's so much video on some of these that you have to speed the video up and keeping them synced while you're speeding them up. And then at the end rendering them. Even though I have a PC that's pretty powerful, I'm using DaVinci Resolve 19, it's still, man, when you got 3 cropped videos that are 4K and you're trying to speed them up, it just takes a long time. If most of you think that that's not great, then I'd be just happy to switch between different videos instead, which is easy enough for me. What I'm gonna talk about today is that I have had these Mac clamps on my saw for a long time, my previous saw. They're AirTight Clamps, and Mac Campshure is who builds them and makes them. I kind of believe it's a labor of love for them because they're jewelry. Well made and work amazing. And I also have them on my shaper also. And what I'm gonna do today is install them on this saw. I ordered these literally a week after I ordered the saw back in August of last year. And he takes a while to make them because each one of them is custom made. I believe it's somewhere between 60 and 90 days, something like that. And then we waited a little bit to make sure the size of the T-slot on the slider matched. He made them for me, sent them to me. I've had them sitting up in the corner for a couple of months. And now we're gonna get them on the slider and install them on this slider. I don't know that there's any instructions out there on the internet about how to do the opposite side down there when we get there for installing them, but this side is pretty straightforward. We're gonna start here, get it installed, and then we'll just move down to the other side. Again, I did this before. This has actually been done on another person's channel. I don't know if you all watch Extreme Woodworker, Steve from Extreme Woodworker. If you don't, watch him. He's got some great stuff on his channel. He installed these on his Martin, I don't know how many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, three years ago, I'm not sure. And he's got a pretty in-depth video. So really, I'm just gonna kind of go through this a little quicker probably than he did. And just to show that the difference of the actual inside of this particular, I guess, extrusion, and how I'm gonna end up fixing it to the other side, because that's where it's definitely got a different kind of end to the slider than other ones I've seen in the past. So, having said that, let's crack into this thing. I've taken this piece off of the slider at this point. This is the back side. Difference between this one from Felder is that it's plastic. On the other side, it's definitely not. But this part down here is plastic, and then this piece up here is plastic also. So drilling through it and putting the connectors on it is gonna be very simple. So I'm not worried about that so far. The hole that is inside of the slider that makes it all the way through to the other side of the extrusion fits within this little part right here of the plastic piece. So all 3 of the parts that I need to install will be right here. So what needs to happen is there needs to be, here, let me get these over here. So this makes better sense. Okay. So there's gonna be 2 of these that are gonna have to come out of here, like yay. The one in the middle is the air supply. And then you have the blue side and the black side. So the black side will be here next to it. So all 3 of these connectors need to fit inside this space right here, which I think will be pretty simple. So I just got to get a dimension on the actual OD of this piece right here so I can screw it in and then get to doing some drilling. So anyways, let's get on this. One of them is different. One of them sticks out much farther. Okay, so thankfully I can solve for that and replace this one here that is slightly different and longer with a one that is the same as the rest of these. So they look the same coming off the back of the slider. So let's do that. So I'm gonna get some tape, mark this up, and then we'll get going. So let's tape this up. Try to minimize any scratching that happens to it. Figure out where we're going to have this thing at. So I want to say we're going to want to have it in this area to this area. So looks like our hole to mount is a 1/2 inch. Easy enough. And then we want to make sure, because there's a lip you can kind of see here on the back side there, that this little lip has to be below the table. So needless to say, got to make sure that that's down below, and that would mean I got to be at least 3/4 of an inch from the top of this. So what I think I'm going to do is put them right, if you can see where it's at, and then use just a Forstner bit, probably easy enough. So you don't need to watch that. So I'll be right back. So I installed them this way. The supply line's the middle, so I put the connector on the bottom. Hopefully that makes it more obvious, but right there, looks like it's gonna be good. Obviously I'm not gonna install it yet because I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do at the end. So let's go down the end and see what's going on there. Okay, I'm not exactly sure where I want to put these connectors, but I know I don't want them there. I want them over here somewhere. Then we have these in the way. It'd be great that it could go there, but then they're off the top, which probably gets it in the way for me. So I don't know how or where they're gonna go here. But what I do need to do is to take this whole thing off so I can actually drill it. So let's get this handle off right here. Oh, well, okay, that makes sense now. I guess it's not super over-engineered. Well, and now it's raining. No. Stop. Whew. Okay, quick update. It's pretty simple actually. There's 4 screws that attach this right here to this slider. And then there's a set screw here that I didn't even need to take out actually, so I'm probably gonna put it back. And then it can give you a ton of extra cable to be able to pull it off and do whatever you're gonna do with. How I'm gonna actually drill this thing out and do this whole thing remains a total mystery because this hole right here is captive. So I'm gonna have to do it on the saw. But what I'm gonna do now is get the air lines through it, and then I'll put it back on and do all the rest of it. So let's get the air lines going because it's way down there still. Oh, close. Okay. Air lines are through. Just push it through with a piece of wood is the way to do it. Easy peasy. Mac definitely gives you enough air lines. You never have to worry about that. But what I do need to do is I need to get it to come through this little hole right here. And then after it comes through the hole, then I can get it out to, it got to go through the hole this way, I'm sorry. And then I can get it to the back side of the connector up here that I'm probably gonna have to drill the hole through for. So now I got to figure out how to flip this back in, and then we can start fabricating. So let's give that our go. Okay, I want this to go through here. That is gonna go down there. Then I gotta lock that into that hole. Oh, that way. It'll fit through like there. Nice. Kinda well thought out. Let's see what's in my way here. I think it's gonna be the easiest thing to do is gonna be for me to actually do this from while it's on the saw. So let's reattach it. Okay, so I want to show you underneath what it looks like so that we can you can see what I did. I hope you can see that, but there's a hole there where the cable goes into, like, basically the extra cable, and that has access to that center part of the extrusion. And then this is the control box that houses the switches. Yeah, that was wild. Okay. Black. And blue. All right. That's done. On to the other side. Because of what we saw over there, I don't want these this long because I really don't want them ever getting hung up coming through the slider. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut them off pretty short here, just enough to me to get it in and out. And the only bummer is the Y will still be long, but I can't get around that. So let's go ahead and cut them off and get going because this will go on really quick. The bottom part underneath it will be a little bit of a hassle, I think. Okay, then this goes in here. And it connects down here to this. And then I need to mount the roller onto this piece of plastic. So this roller needs to be painted. But let's see how we do this first. Got to figure out which bolts can fit where so I can mount it. Now we got to pry that. Oh, well, that comes out too easy, really. But the problem is that the extrusion is massive. Got to admit, this is pretty heavy and there's not much holding it into there, and I may need to drill a self-tapper into this just to hold it from falling out because it's kind of heavy. But I guess we'll find out in a few minutes, won't we? All right. Yeah, they'll pop right out. So actually it would be better if I can do it from the top. Okay, here we go. Here goes nothing. Let's see. Okay, moment of truth. And it misses it. Oh, it hits the garage. Okay, we're good to go. Now we just need to get a fitting into this. Okay. Okay. We are done. It works and it does not get in the way of the saw. And single one at a time. I gotta put something to hold that in. And then if you hold down this, now they work in unison. You can kind of see as I come way down here. Hopefully you can see that other one happen. Probably now you can. So, AirTight clamps on the saw. And yeah, so putting them on the SCM, nothing out crazy. I think I probably learned some things that I could give some tips along the way for. It's got plastic end caps on both sides. The top end cap, no problem because it's got a bolt that holds it in. Bottom end cap does not, and because that roller is kind of heavy, you know, installing a couple of screws there is great. Coming straight down the middle of the extrusion is easy, and then I put the two connectors right here, and they don't interfere with anything. So far so good. and one more thing added to the saw. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe if you haven't.